Hello guys, welcome to a Trading Parrot. The BNB Binance coin is putting new all-time highs beyond the $1,100 mark. It is doing that at the cost of some bearish divergences that I want to discuss with you, and it's leaving behind a heck of a lot of liquidity pools on the downside. Let's have a look at those. Let's see how BNB is standing relative to the rest of the altcoins in the market using high block capital. We're going to look into some news as well, many of them bullish, of course. Do not miss my analysis of BNB against Ethereum, because at the moment it's at a critical level that if broken, we could see a lot more upside coming in for BNB. Guys, if you want to trade BNB or any altcoin with leverage, consider opening an account on 2bit. 2 minutes to deposit your crypto and start trading. That's because KYC in this exchange is optional. It was built by the same people of Bybit, therefore the UI, it's really great user experience. And to welcome you in, as soon as you sign up, you get $50 deposit in your account to start trading for free. Now, if you deposit your own cash, you can get 30,000 USDT in trading bonuses based on the size of your deposit and trading volume. Looking at the past 3 months of BNB liquidity pools looks pretty scary to me. We are getting into 1,100 after having broken finally the $1,000 mark. We did that by liquidating tons of shorts that were accumulated from $900 into $1,000. But now we have left against the longs big liquidation levels that are not very close to the price at the moment. The biggest one I will say is 672, followed by 810. On the weekly, the RSI looks crazy. You can see that the breakout was confirmed on the 19th of May, but that caused a fake out. We came back inside the triangle, put a higher low, and finally did a second breakout. That was the actual breakout that starts from 23rd of June. It was really impulsive into 72 straight away, and you can see that by getting into $1,100, we have achieved 77 almost RSI, which is very extended. Recently, we reached almost 90 with 89.29. So the percentile is waiting for us there to see if we can achieve that once more. This peak in here is 98, so you can have an idea, and notice that it peaks on February 2021. That equivalent to this cycle will be in 2026 February. Before that, it reached an RSI of 84. So if this peak in here of 89 was this one, we could be due for some big upside into the 80s or 90s at some point in the next few months. Now, of course, we cannot be just moon boys in here. We need to consider what is the current risk. And on the weekly, guy, you can see how far we are from the most bullish support. So we got our support somewhere around the 61. Moving from 74 into 61, that's 13 points down. And when we look back at all this liquidity, the question is, if we hit support on the weekly, what could we do to these longs in here? Are we going to reach the 800 or can we put in the range even 669? Let's have a look. We're going to use the reverse RSI and we're going to put 61 and see how far that can go down. That is only 962. So it's the most bullish support. It's right there underneath this red candle. So to hit those liquidity pools, we really need to break the current weekly support. And that says a lot, because it means that we need to be looking potentially to defend the 48. But are we really going to slow down that much? I will say reaching 61, 62 is definitely doable, getting into that 900s again. But getting into 50, let's have a look. Let's put 50 in here. And let's see what that brings. It brings precisely 800. Notice that cooling down into an RSI of 50, it's not the end of the world, right? That's still on the upper end of the momentum. And depending on how long we take to get there, we could meet with the line when it's already 50, or maybe we meet with the line when it's 51. But we need to take some considerations. Timing. We are now ending September, we are in beginning of October, then we get into November, December, and notice crossing this is already 12th of January. So if we want to mimic this sort of performance, this needs to happen around February, worst case. So do we really have time to go into 50 and then go back up and meet with the 90s? That is the main question. If we want to really stay realistic and supporting the idea of Bitcoin ending the peak around December, November, then this guy has very little time. Now, if we go beyond that and we get a bit kind of forward thinking that we are already breaking the 4-year cycle, or that we could peak with Bitcoin in Q1, Q2, if you support that idea, well, good luck, because we need to break 130K to confirm that. But if we do it, then yeah, well, possibly you can come back in here and do it later in 2026. Do I support that? No, low likely. Possible? Yeah, sure, anything is possible. Where are we with the longs and shorts? You can see that it has made an all-time high of longs in 11 of November 2024. We are about that area. You can see how the percentile is tracking that at 73. The question is, are we gonna get into 84? Well, it could happen. That is in the range of the parallel channel. We've been paying a double visit to the area of value. We are far away from that, so I'm not looking for longs at all. I already sold all my BNB. I just left a little bit to do my transactions for the next 4 years, but I distribute massively my BNB, and I'm really happy for that. Socials are peaking in the recent period of a year and a little bit more. So this is calling for a lot of attention already. 186% of social dominance is talking about BNB. Notice that the social dominance of BNB is coming down. But what's happening here is a breakout of the social dominance. It could be that it goes beyond this trend of diminishing social dominance, and potentially we see some highs around the 4% of everybody talking about BNB. That's doable. At that point, if you're not taking profits, well, good luck. Let's look at different perspectives. What's going on at the moment? Spot and futures on BNB are in the territory of hitting when it comes to the bubble map. Let's have a look at both spot and futures. Spot is getting overheated, but is it really? I think it's in the pink. It's not that bad as we were in March in 2024. It can get a lot worse, as you can see in the previous cycle. And this is spot. Let's look at futures. Yeah, it's red, but so we were red at $300, and then we put a local top at $600. So if you want to trail this thing and try to squeeze more of your BNB, I wouldn't blame you, but I would if you don't trail it, if you don't use any risk management, because a bubble is that. It's a bubble. It can pop. Do you want to be during the pop and then lose all the gains? Then do the due diligence. Use risk management. Let's look into the news. Binance launches Hodler Airdrops, program for BNB hodlers, rewards based on snapshots of BNB balances may encourage holding, reduce sell pressure, and increase user retention in BNB ecosystem. I heard that futures is dominating on Binance this particular past few months. There's nothing anywhere close, not even Bybit or OKX, and that could explain the all-time highs. BNB hits new all-time high 1,111, price breaking higher to new all-time highs, draws momentum, attention, and FOMO. Yeah, and we can see that spike in the social dominance. But in my opinion, there is still some upside for BNB, and this goes against my distribution. I'm already gone from BNB. I just follow strictly my plan, and I'm done. 9 out of 10, of course, and the rally again appearing on other news. Where does it stand BNB relative to the rest of the market? You can see it right there. It's slightly below the median line, so we got a bit more retail than well allocation, I could say, at least relative to these coins in here, which tend to have more well allocation at the moment. Sorry, I say it upside down. You can see in here that it's in the green, so BNB is in the well side. No, I was right. This is more into the retail side. It's just that it's green, but it's less green than this coin. So it still has less well than the rest. There is well present because we are reading a 9, but we have less than the rest. I'm sorry about that. And when it comes to the y-axis, we have the bid versus ask ratio. We are below the rest. So that means that we have less orders within the 0 to 5% range relative to all these coins in here. These coins up here are defending more, and that could be because BNB is moving up at the moment. You can see it's not in the green today in terms of percentage for the day. It's in the yellow, orange, right? XRP is down, BNB is a little bit up, not as much as Agent. And because of that, it's got less support. That's natural. It's not necessarily that there's something huge bearish at the moment on BNB. Liquidation, we cover it of the past 30 days. We have 1,060 is the largest liquidation level of the past 30 days and it's very close to the price. Watch out with that one. And below that, 918. If we go into 918, of course, we are going to be meeting with the most bullish support that I already covered of the 61 RSI weekly. Let's look at BNB against Ethereum and I let you go. This is very important, guys. Of course, Ethereum has done a lot of things and that ended up squashing the performance of BNB, but BNB is coming back potentially for another wave. And it's facing against Ethereum big resistance at 0.25. That resistance has held BNB historically in April 2021, in November in 2022, and then in February 2025, right before BNB emancipated and say, hey, no more of that resistance. I'm going to go to 37 cents. And since we have higher highs in here, there is a chance that we go into an RSI of 80. And this could potentially double the valuation at the moment of BNB against Ethereum, getting you into 47, coming from 24. Well, what would you expect? That's a big move up. Of course, it's absolutely speculative, and I do not think that this is gonna just sustain and go straight up. I'm expecting still to see upside on Ethereum by the end of the cycle, particularly if Bitcoin goes now into an all-time high, then Ethereum is high likely to follow up with that. During that period, I will expect BNB to have retracement, clear some of the liquidity I just showed you, and once Ethereum is done, at some point, BNB can do this move up again and potentially against Ethereum outperform and close it with this sort of trend that goes like this. You can see it. Crazy times for BNB. Thanks so much for watching this video. Hit the like, subscribe, and write down below which coins you want to see an in-depth video like this. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great weekend as well. Bye-bye.